to the 52 Scott Podcast for another episode of Black Friday. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host, Freddie G, Slash, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. You can find us on Twitter at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast. And if you're on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Welcome, fellas, to another Black Friday. Today, man, I thought we talk about black fathers. In my opinion, man, I feel like when the black father is mentioned, it's a lot of negativity that goes along with it. But truth be told, there are a lot of good black fathers out there, and I wanted to make sure that they got their flowers. We're all fathers here on this podcast, and I don't know if I know we all didn't grow up with the father in our household, but a couple of us, I think the fathers were present, and that's mainly kind of what you hear about when you speak about the black father. How he's absent from the household for whatever reason, and how he's non-existent in his child's life. Well, times have changed, and I've observed a lot of black fathers stepping up and they doing their damn thing, and I don't hear enough, I think, being said about the positive things that I think black fathers are doing nowadays, right, versus how and what we used to hear 30 to 40 years ago. So let me start out with some black fathers are more likely to live apart from their children than white fathers. But when they do live with their children, they are often more involved in their child's lives. Do you guys agree with that?
I agree.
I agree.
What reason do you think a black father that's living in the household would not be involved with his child's, be involved with the children?
I believe that if mom is tying one hand behind dad's back, then that can make dad not be involved with the child in a way that he would, because mom kind of babies the child, or whether it's a girl or a boy.
Right.
Mom kind of babies the child a little bit, always in mama bear mode.
Okay.
And so I believe that could make dad be like, you know what? Every time I say something,
you stepping on my toes.
She steps on my toes or undermine what I say. So now let me just bag out and not say or do what I would normally say or do if she didn't step on my toes.
Let me ask you all this. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, comedian.
I would say this is one I've seen personally. This back in the day, though. I don't think it happens now. Possibly, but I don't know. I had an uncle, and mom and dad there, but it was my cousin, and it was her dad and her mom, which would be my uncle and aunt. He worked a lot. 3 a.m. wouldn't come back till 9 p.m. So when he came home, she was asleep. So his engagement with her wasn't very good. It wasn't a lot. You know what I mean? It wasn't frequent. It wasn't. He was there, but he wasn't there. He's more of a provider because it's back in the day type stuff.
And that's what we're known for mainly is being providers. But like I stated early on, I'm seeing a lot of black fathers that are being more than just providers. They're stepping up, and I'm seeing them drop kids off to school, even just in regards to dealing with the children in the household, as far as making sure they got a bath in, they're being fed, things of that nature, things that you don't necessarily expect a father to do, because it is part of their responsibility. They're just not known for doing it. Let me ask you guys this: do you think there's a certain time when a child is born that a father should step up, or it's okay for him to step up, day one, like just caring for an infant, and I mentioned bathing, because please keep in mind, if a father has a daughter for a child, bathing them can be kind of critical and very sensitive depending on, who you're dealing with as your spouse. So do you think it's okay for a father early on to be hands-on with the children, regardless of the sex?
Yes.
Yeah, hands-on, definitely. Now, when it comes to bathing, once I believe that once a girl gets a certain age, and that age is early.
Yeah, I agree.
2-3 years
To
old.
me,
Yeah.
it's almost like once they start talking and walking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2-3 years
Right.
old.
Yeah.
I have a granddaughter that old, and I'll tell you, when she comes and stays with me, using the bathroom and bathing and stuff like that.
You
I'm
give her that
telling-
respect.
Yeah, and I let her have the bathroom
Right.
on her own. All I'll do is I'll turn the light on for her if she, so she can see. Of course, she can't reach the light switch. But here's the deal: if she used the bathroom, let's just say she does a number 2. She doesn't wear diapers. She's potty trained. But of course, when a number 2 is involved, there's some other issues that you have to do to make sure she's properly clean.
Right.
I take her off the toilet and put her in the tub. I run the bath water. So get in the tub when you finish.
Oh,
Clean
so you
yourself
make her
up.
take a bath after
Yeah,
she.
because I'm not. She's 3 years old. I'm not doing that because I don't want her to think that that's normal for somebody else to be doing it. And man wise,
Right. One
Let
advice.
your mama do that, but I'm not gonna do it. And you, my granddaughter. But it's just the thing of her mental. Well, I guess the word I'm looking for would be subconsciously. Knowing that it's not right for a man to touch you
Right,
there.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Regardless
so I
of
don't do
who
it.
he is.
You know what I'm saying? And again, that's my granddaughter, and I will not do it. So yeah, at a
Yeah.
certain age,
There's certain exactly.
when
You
it
shouldn't
comes
be
to sex,
you shouldn't be doing that.
The man shouldn't be touching the young girl, no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and I would say this for not for my oldest daughter, but my youngest daughter, and I think some people practice this. The earliest is usually about 3 months. With my daughter, my youngest daughter, her mom did not allow anyone, not her siblings, not visitors, to come see the new baby because of their immune system.
Right.
So it was just her and the baby for 3 months. They were together. The kids didn't come in the room, nothing. They had to knock. They wanted to see mama. So a lot of people carry that because of their immune system, but usually after the 3rd month, I'll say up to about maybe 1.5, 2. That's the only time we should be bathing it.
That's some very valuable advice, fellas. As far as the immune system, that's kind of normal. I don't think anybody should be taking a newborn out. Couple of weeks after they've been born, but this younger generation definitely is operating different, good and bad. But like I said, I do see a lot of more black fathers, being hands-on, which is a positive thing to see. I just not hearing about it is my thing.
Here's the thing. Let me say something too, and I want to say this in light of the things that I've been seeing here lately when it comes to black fathers. Now, here's what I don't like. When black fathers are involved, what I don't like is I don't like other races speaking on a black father being involved in their child's life. And I definitely don't like it. I'm talking about speaking negatively.
Okay.
And I definitely don't like it when black folks speak negatively about a black father being involved in their child's life. Now, let me give examples. I got an issue with with people talking about LeBron James and how the active role he played dealing with Bronny getting to where he is today. And there's nothing wrong with dad being a dad to help son navigate his way.
That's the way it should be.
Throughout this thing. I also have an issue with the way Shedeur Sanders had been handled. And you got Deion Sanders, who coached this kid all of his life, helped him navigate these waters called the NFL. And so I have an issue with people speaking on this father being a father.
Being a father, exactly.
I have an issue with how people. I don't care about all of the bravado and the confidence and the ego and all that stuff. I don't give a damn about that. When it comes to LeVar Ball and how he handled his sons, and getting them to what they need to be, and he's being active in their life and helping them navigate. And and one other before I finish here, Richard Williams. I have an issue with people talking about Richard Williams being involved, how he was involved in Serena and Venus. See, those 4 guys that I just mentioned are black fathers who were hands-on with their children and help their children become successful and be able to be productive citizens
More
in
than
this
productive.
life.
More
You
than
know,
productive citizens.
Yeah, and so but you get a lot of people outside the black community speaking negatively of it because they're not used to seeing
Exactly.
black men being hands-on and involved in their children's life, and that's a problem. And I really got an issue when black folks do it. Shut the hell up.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Freddie G, because I can only think of one white family in the sports world that, where it was, is that nepotism?
Yep.
Where that was involved with the Mannings, and you've never heard anything negative about Archie Manning and how he dealt with his sons. But like you just mentioned, Freddie G, you mentioned 4 fathers that were hands-on from day one with their children, and they're becoming successful citizens in the sports world and in the craft that they're doing. So it shows that it's nothing bad about it. So I don't understand why the negative flack is being given or being received. But again, that's what society has us used to, not believing, but just thinking that the black father not necessarily is non-existent, but when he is existent, what good is he for?
And let me give another one outside,
Go ahead.
outside of sports. Denzel Washington.
Oh, another good example. Another great example.
Not only is he got a son in front of the camera, but he also got a son behind the scenes. The Wayans family.
Yes, sir.
The whole damn family. So, and I just don't get it, man, how,
Well, we know what it all boils down to. And a lot of people, I feel it's hidden racism when it comes down to, how we're being talked about. But again, it's proven and shown that, there are good black fathers out there that's stepping up and doing the damn thing. I wanted to touch on some numbers. 44% of black fathers live apart from at least one of their children, compared to 21% of white fathers. This difference is even more pronounced when considering fathers with younger children. 32% of African American fathers living apart from children under 5, compared to 10% of white fathers. We were just mentioning how, and the examples you gave, Freddie G, were examples of successful fathers that were in their children's lives. But, you do have fathers that have been incarcerated and have gotten out and have been very productive in their child's life. Now, being incarcerated is only one reason I could think why a father wouldn't be living with his child or children, or if he's divorced and had previous children in a previous relationship and he's remarried. That I can see him not living with the child in that instance. But can you guys think of any other reasons why a father wouldn't be living with the child other than, being divorced, or if they're not in good with the child's mother? What reason would they have not to be living with the child, if any?
Man, it could be.
And I know it's a variety of reasons,
Yes,
but
a variety of reasons.
even though they're not living with the child, there's no reason that they shouldn't be involved. At some point in time, they should still be coming around.
That's true.
Yes.
I do agree.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. There are a lot of fathers that, the government has made it very difficult for them to be in a household, for one. But we've kind of overcome that, I think, and that's why we're seeing more and more fathers being hands-on. But those that have been dealt a bad hand, like I say, there are some that have stepped up and are still doing their job, and I pray, and I'm tipping my hat to those gentlemen and I'm
Man, let me say this, okay, man.
appreciate it. Go ahead.
So, check this out. For fathers who've been incarcerated and you're no longer with your children's mother or your child's mother, there's no excuse not to be a father and not to come around your child. I know someone personally, and me and this brother is like super duper cool. We damn near walk the same walk and talk the same talk. We damn near can finish each other's thoughts. I know somebody personally that was incarcerated and was able to come home and play an active role in his children's life. So, for fathers who are incarcerated who get out and say that, man, I ain't got no money, so I can't come around, or I ain't got nothing to give them, you don't need a lot to play an active role. Whatever that role may be, however it is, just be consistent with it.
Right.
And what I've heard from children is, it's not about the money, Dad. It's a dad that I knew about. Don't want him to speak his name. It's about the time. His children say it's the time. That's all they really care about. Man, you can go take them to the park. It's free to go to the park.
I think when they're younger, it's more about the time. But
Right.
as they get older, the time is still valuable, but they're looking at it. I think they're looking
different
at
ways
yeah.
because they need things. There's necessities in your children's lives.
And let me say this here too. Now, I don't want to not acknowledge certain things when it comes to men. Sometimes men just don't feel right if their pockets ain't right.
Exactly.
I get that.
And so
you
sometimes it is a little difficult for men to be able to show their face empty-handed.
That's right.
Especially if you got an ignorant baby mama.
Yeah. If you got an ignorant baby mama, it's hard for a man to show up empty-handed.
You bet not.
And in cases where your baby mama is not ignorant, and I'm using the word ignorant like we use it in the black community, not the actual meaning of the word ignorant. But if your baby mama is cool, sometimes it's still difficult for that father to show up empty-handed because he doesn't have anything. Hell, he might not even have a car.
And you know what, Freddie G, what you saying right now, those are definitely issues that'll keep a man away from his child.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's on a small scale.
Yeah. Now there are some men, like the guy I mentioned earlier, that I'm really cool with. I watched that guy get on the bus just to go see his kids play. Well, his kid play sport and his daughter cheerlead. I watched that guy catch the bus and do that.
right. See, so that shows there are no excuses, but it is hard, if you don't have a pocket full of money or money, period. Because children will ask you for things, and you don't want to be the one saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I can see why it would be hard for them to, to want to visit if they didn't have any finances at all. But that should still not be an excuse. However, that is one of the main reasons right there is lack of finances.
Right.
I'm sorry, Comedian 96. I think I cut you off.
No. I was saying that's what's up. I was just commending the guy, his friend, getting on the bus to go see his kids, because that's not often. You will see that. If they ain't got no ride, they ain't got no money, they ain't going.
Let me ask you guys this: the importance of being a father. Fatherhood. I took great pride in becoming a father. That's one of my greatest achievements. I like to think it was one of my greatest achievements, becoming a father, and just the sense of pride that I display, and just hearing dad, the word dad, that at a certain point, it makes you feel some type of way. So, I took great pride in being a father, and I definitely wanted to be an example and set an example for my kids. However, things don't always work out the way we wanted to work out the way we may have planned.
Yes.
And that could kind of deter us from being the father that we know we can be versus the father that we end up becoming.
I know y'all have seen this before, where the kids, because they not around the dad that much, they don't call him dad, they call him by his first name.
Now that I find that offensive, honestly.
Very.
Speaking.
I see it though. I
Yeah.
know y'all seen it before.
I hate when I see kids calling their parents by the name. You know, if anything, you go call them Mr. or Mrs. whatever the last name is or first name is, but not by the first name. You know, that's just a lack of respect.
Right.
And they need to be set straight when that happens. You know, because if you don't correct them, it's going to continue.
That's right. And that's what I think to me, that means this is all the more reason why, if it's the dad being called by his first name rather than being called dad, that's all the more reason why he should step up, because that sense of disrespect is printed right there.
Exactly.
But usually they step up when it's too late. Remember, kids want to grow up with their parents, right?
That's
but
right.
once you get to an older age, 18, 19, 20, and you try to step in and
It
try
doesn't
to
even matter at that
be
point.
dad at that
Yeah,
point,
it's too late.
I ain't gonna say
I
it's
can
too late.
understand.
It's just harder.
It's harder, a lot harder. Yeah.
I mean, but it's still an opportunity. As long as you know you're above ground, it's never too late. And I'm experiencing that firsthand, to be honest with you. You know, like I say, I was a very present father. However, the relationship that I have with my kids isn't exactly how I wanted it or planned it to be. But, you know, I haven't given up, and you know, I know as long as I'm here and I know as long as they're here, there's an opportunity for it to be mended, and you know, we can still salvage it and develop a relationship. And I think, you know, a relationship with both parents is extremely important, but I feel the father's existence, and I could be biased in saying this, but I know we only have one mom, one mother, but you know, nobody can be here without that seed being planted. You know, that's where we play that important role. We plant that seed, so we play a valuable role and a very important role, not in just planting the seed, but once that seed is born, you know, we play an important role in how that child develops. So our absence leaves a sense of void in children's lives if we're not present. So I think it's extremely important that you be present and do whatever you can to be in your child's life as early as you can. Don't, you know, we're going to face obstacles, but don't let that be an excuse. And we're quick when shit is going wrong. You know, you're quick to give up on things because it's easy. It's too easy. But you know, when you have that responsibility, you definitely have to step up and do what's meant, because nobody asked to be here. You know, they may be planned, but you know, neither one of us have asked. We didn't have a way to ask to come into this world. You know what I'm saying? So I don't blame my father for not being existent in my life. You know, I'd use that and try to channel it and motivate myself on the type of father that I could have been. I challenged it and challenged myself to be the type of father that I thought and felt that my kids needed. Not saying that it was the right way or the wrong way, but I knew, you know, that I was definitely a present father, and I hope that I made the time that I did spend in my children's life. I hope I made some type of difference, and I made some type of impact to where when I do leave this earth, that you know, they remember me for something good and valuable that they're carrying on and being productive while they're living their lives. And I hope when they have children, they remember some of the things that I tried to teach them and
Right.
you know, teach their children, you know, pass it on down.
That keeps the legacy of his
The
family.
legacy, there you go, the legacy. So, like I said, man, this show mainly, I just wanted to talk about the black father, because I just don't hear enough good being said about the black father. And my black fact, man, I just wanted to, again, just give my flowers to all black fathers out there that's stepping up and doing the damn thing, and keep it up, and don't let anything deter you from being that staple and that king in your child's life. Peace out. this concludes another Black Friday episode. And be sure you tune in next week for another dope episode of Music Monday with Slash. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast.